start with Michael and then Justin.
There were a lot of upsets or near upsets in week 0. Is that something that you can use as a talking point or teaching point for your team?
Yeah, it's definitely something we've talked about. I think, every game's a different game, and it's all about how you prepare and, what your mindset is going into it, And so I don't know why those things happened the way they did on Saturday, but credit to those teams that, either, press those teams to the edge or in the case of Georgia Tech, found a way to get it done.
Justin and then Matt.
Just what are your impressions of New Mexico after watching them?
They look like they play hard. Obviously, I think definitely creative defensively, and then offensively they've got some weapons, right? I think if I watch that game, I think I feel like they're one catch away from it being over. You know what I mean? I was really impressed on both sides of the ball. I know Bronco's been a really good coach for a really long time, so the team, they're going to be ready to play, and they have the advantage of having played a game, where we haven't, so it's a little bit different.
And then what's TMAC status this
You
week?
get 2 questions? I thought I said 1 question. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
TMAC status?
TMAC's going to play. Come on. The triple question. And sorry, I'm just messing with you. All right, what we got?
Brent, for you personally, 7 months ago you were on this stage, being introduced as Arizona's head coach. And I know you're a process guy, but being here in game week, how's it feel being real?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's funny. I had that thought walking out here just now. Just like how much has changed in 7 months. But I think it's surreal, but it's also really, really special. And I'm excited, just like our players are.
Jason and then Jenna.
Now that the first game is past, do you like the fact that you saw it and have some film of New Mexico, or is it kind of a double-edged?
No, I think it's a good thing. I definitely, I think for, that's how you would look at it, right? Like they have the benefit of actually playing a really tough 4-quarter game, which I think there's benefits to that. And then we have the benefit of having some tape on them. So I'm sure they see it the same way I would assume they do.
Jenna and then David.
What is your message to the team this week as they prepare for New Mexico, and what are your expectations for them?
My message to the team is it's all about us. It's about our process and how we prepare. It's very, very simple. It's boring and it's not sexy, but it's all about just the detail of our process and our preparation. I think that part is I think that sometimes gets lost with the whatever exposure, the media, friends, family, fans, all that stuff. But it's always that. It's about us and this football team and how we go about our business this week, preparing for this game, and then how we show up on Saturday. And my expectations are for us to play well, and that'll be my expectations every week.
David and then Brian.
Brian, you mentioned last week the cold pool as being kind of one of the advantages that's nice about being in a school like the University of Arizona. What are some of the other things that have been in place here that you look back and say, man, if we'd have had that at San Jose State, we'd love to have been having those types of advantages?
Well, I think everybody has contributed greatly to having this amazing facility here. It wasn't until our last season that we actually had that really nice football building. I think that has a chance to impact recruiting. It impacts your teaching environment, your learning environment. It impacts your recovery, your training room, your weight room, all those things. So I think we're definitely fortunate to have what we have here, and I think the guys do a good job of respecting it.
Brian and then Michael.
How much of your overall playbook do you think you're going to be able to use this first game, or do you want to save stuff for later on?
All I want to do is win. And so whatever we need to call to find a way to play good football and give ourselves a chance to win is what I want to do.
Michael.
I have 2 questions, just so you're
Now it's a thing.
The first one is, what, if anything, in your experience is unique or different about the season opener?
Everyone's different. You know what I mean? I've played in season openers where we were favored, where we were massive underdogs, where it was even. I played against teams that people thought we shouldn't beat. I played against teams that people thought we should beat. They're all different.
And the other one was, what stat or stats do you value the most that you feel like have the biggest impact on winning or losing?
I mean, I think there's a lot of, especially now with all the information and data you get or you have access to, but I think the simplest ones would be turnover margin, third down, and red zone. Is simple, places to start for that.
Brian, and then Jenna.
Had you ever been dunked in a dunk tank before?
Oh yeah, plenty of times. I'm always up for that stuff. That was a really nice thing. I thought it was great to get all the student athletes together, to get them all together with all of our coaches and support staff and administration. It was a really well-run event. The staff, everyone that put it together did a great job, and the dunk tank was kind of fun. I mean, I was up there for a while. I think somebody gassed our boss Desiree on the first pitch. Like it was like, I got to watch people miss for like 20 throws. She got knocked in there the first one, so it was great. It was a cool environment, great to get all student athletes together. I think kind of on your question, one of the really awesome things about University of Arizona is that our athletes eat breakfast together. And so to your question, like we weren't able to do that at my previous institution. And I think there's real value in that because they do care about each other and they do support each other. And so then that way, when you have an event like you had yesterday, it's actually like meaningful. And a lot of the student athletes hadn't seen each other since summer. And so it was a great kind of, hey, the semester's starting, let's kick this thing off. It was really cool.
Jenna, then Jason.
Is there something, a tradition or something about the game day atmosphere that you're most looking forward to about Saturday?
Oh, that's a good question. I think college football is the best sport in the country. Like, I think it's magical, and there's all the things that go into it, from the tailgating to the Wildcat Walk to the band and the cheerleaders and the pom-pom and and the flag group, like the students, the Zona Zoo, like all those things make it absolutely awesome. And I know there's lots of people that like watching games in the comfort of their home, but there's nothing like the smell of walking into a stadium on game day and what that feels like and feeling that energy and being a part of the experience. It's one of the most special things that happens across our country all Saturdays during the fall.
Jason, then Justin.
I also have two questions, but first off, you got to tinker a little bit with communication. How do you feel about that going into the game, and have you decided what defensive player will have the headset and all that?
It's still under consideration, I think, but I think it's going to end up being Jacob Monin, and if he's not in, then I think it'll be Gunner. But that's not a surprise because everyone's going to know because they're going to have a green dot in the back of their helmet, right? So, but the communication's been good. We were able to practice it a bunch. I think the tablets are going to be a useful tool for everybody. I'm just watching the games this weekend. You see how often everybody is utilizing it on the sideline. I think watching bits and pieces of the SMU game, every time I saw Rhett, he had a tablet in front of him. He was holding a tablet and scrolling through. I think the big thing that everybody needs to remember is that no matter what happens in the game, you cannot show the tablet to an official. That's a big one. That's a bad one. So just want to make sure everybody on my staff knows that. Like, under no circumstances are we doing that.
And then I had asked you this last week, and just want to follow up. Have you decided what coaches will be in the box and what coaches will be on the field with you?
Yes.
Justin, then Saul.
What kind of impact has Brandon Sanders had on the program in his role?
Brandon Sanders is great. I was on a Zoom with him last night with all the football letter winners that he does every 3 months, every month, and he's just trying to keep those guys informed and updated. He's also just a great job with the kind of the high school relations and that part of it. Him having been a coach here in the state of Arizona, I think there's value in that. Also, the fact that he was such a great player here. I just love the fact that we have so many guys around the program that played here at the U of A. I think there's real value in that, in their experience and their knowledge of the place, and having Brandon being kind of forward facing with our football alumni, and then also with the high school coaches. I think it's been really valuable for us. He's doing a great job.
Last question is Saul.
Obviously, there's a lot of top-tier running backs in this conference, and you've been asked this multiple times before, but how do you feel about the defensive line going into game number one now?
I think that's going to be one of the nice surprises of this football team. I think there's a lot of talent there. We've got a good mix of some speed and some edge presence with some physicality interior, and so it's going to be a lot of fun to see what that looks like when we start playing.
All right.